Welcome back, guys. You join us here for the final 5 laps of this Singapore Grand Prix. My game has crashed 3 times over the course of tonight. It's getting ridiculous now. I'm going to be searching up what potentially could be causing this because it's absolutely ridiculous. It's happened once, twice, maybe a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember. But basically, it shouldn't be happening at all. I don't even know why. It's crashed 3 times in one night. Really can't explain why it keeps happening. I've uninstalled the game and then reinstalled it. Last week at Monza, it didn't happen until I think almost the end of the race. It was about 5 laps from the end last week at Monza in the Grand Prix. It crashed once, and this week here it's crashed 3 times. So I really don't know what's going on, what can be done about it, but gonna try and figure it out after this. But Senna nonetheless leading ahead of the Grieve, followed by Little Greavy, Mr. Basil. They're running in 4th place ahead of V10 Ultra, followed by Mike and the Mutsnuts, who are well behind. I think that both of these two have got the AI in the car, so technically we've got 5 drivers still going here in this Singapore Grand Prix tonight, and Senna on what is, he said, his favourite track, currently got the ascendancy here in this race. There's the Grieve ahead of Little Greavy. There's Little Greavy's trying to make the move here on his brother. Through Raffles Boulevard we go, looking down the inside, too far back just at the moment though. Mr. Basil's still waiting in the wings behind him, but Little Greavy still not able to make the move here on his brother at this point. On board there with Little Greavy. Looks like the Grieve might have a lower downforce setup. It doesn't look like the Little Greavy's got any answer to him down the straights. And obviously with no DRS being available here in these very slippery, dangerous conditions, it means that he's going to have to get it done based on his corner exits, traction and pure grunt. But these two are actually gaining a little bit on Senna through that section. The gap's now well under a second between Senna and the Grieve. So Grieve still just chipping away here at the race leader. He's certainly not got this one in hand yet. He's definitely going to be on the table. Oh, is the Grieve getting a massive slide there, massive little wiggle there, which Little Grieve wasn't able to capitalise on. Mr. Basil creeping closer to the back of these guys right now, but the Grieve, if he makes a few more mistakes like that, will cost him second place here in this race. He's currently keeping ahead of Little Greavy and Mr. Basil just about, and Senna's now gapping these by a considerable amount, with the Grieve now focusing more in his rearview mirrors than he is at what's ahead of him, and it's giving Senna that opportunity to get up and go here out the front of this pack. Currently a second and a half is Senna's gap as we're coming through the final couple of corners here on lap 27. We've got 4 laps left to go here at Singapore. As we come over the line, it's Senna from the Grieve with Little Greavy all over the back of him. And then you've got Mr. Basil there running in 4th place. See the battle for second place still raging on here, as Little Greavy creeping close to the back of the Grieve here, coming through Raffles Boulevard, looking to the outside. Is he going to be able to make a move? He's not going to be able to. The Grieve still defending his position for everything he's got here, and these guys continue to drop off the back of Senna, who's now pulling the gap once again here to these. Mr. Basil can't find a way through. He's just sat there waiting patiently, but the opportunity is not presenting itself at this point. As the 2 Haas drivers continue to dice it out here. That will give it a bit of a run, but it's going to get there too late, coming into the corner in the old sling, and it's still the Grieve ahead of his brother at this point. For those of you just joining us, well done, you've just joined our 4th stream of tonight, because unfortunately we've had some technical difficulties. All of our other streams have basically, well, my game has crashed, which in turn causes the stream to crash as well. Tony Zero says, EA, am I right, Andy? Yeah, pretty much, mate. That's, yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, exactly, EA. That is it. Well, they're saying that, do you know what? Until about 3 weeks ago, I'd never had the game crash once, and then since then, every single week the game has crashed. I just don't know why. It's just suddenly started happening, and I do not know why. It's literally no reason why the game should be crashing. It's just recently started happening every single week. I don't know if it's my PlayStation 5 or what. It could actually be my PS5. I mean, it's not happening on any other game. That's the thing. I mean, ACC's running all right. And ACC used to be broken as well. As the Greaves let Little Greavy through, so he's letting him have a crack here at centre maybe. Potentially team orders there from the Haas drivers. The Greaves saying, go on mate, get after him. Go get him, bro. Nonetheless, Little Greavy here up into clean air. Now can he try and chase down our race leader there in the Red Bull, who said earlier on, this is his favourite track here. So Senna does love Singapore, and he's currently showing it at this point. Little Greavy though into some clean air. Can he now chase him down? The rain is now easing off a little bit. The track will start to dry up ever so slightly. Who's that going to benefit? I would have thought that would be benefiting Senna, because we know he's quick around this track in the dry as well as the wet. Mr. Basil now creeping closer to the back of the Greave here, as these two battle it out over the final podium place. But Little Greavy's definitely gaining on Senna since he's been released into clean air by his brother the Greave. So this battle for the lead could be very much still on here, as we've got 2.5 laps left to go here for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's been a very long night with the safety cars and with the chaos, and obviously it's a slow race as it is, because it's not the longest of laps in terms of distance, so you do a lot of laps, and obviously in terms of time it's quite a long lap, because it's such a slow speed circuit. In terms of your average speed, it's such a slow track, so it takes such a long time to complete this race. But Senna here just defending the inside there from Little Greavy. No way through for the Little Greavy at the moment. The Greave still defending from Mr. Basil at this point. These two battles, the only battles going on for first place and third place, as Little Greavy's got a bit of a run here. Looking to the inside of Senna. Senna trying to hold it around the outside. He's going to keep the grip there. He goes a little bit deep through that section of the track. Does he get it turned in? Does he cover off any possible cut back here? Little Greavy's looking to the inside, coming into the bridge. And they're side by side here as they all the way through the corner. Senna, they're keeping the inside line and just squeezing ahead there. Very tight racing between them. Senna just survives by the skin of his teeth there. Little Greavy would have just been thinking he got that one done and in the bag, but Senna somehow surviving as they're coming into the final section here. Looking to the inside here is Little Greavy, calls over the curve a little bit. Senna gives him the space and has to let him through, because Little Greavy's right there, and Little Greavy now leads the race here on lap 30 with 2 laps left to go here in this one, as we've got side by side here. Mr. Basil's making a move on Little Greavy into turn 1, but he can't do it. The Greave goes late on the brakes there and keeps it around the outside, holding onto the podium place there just about. But his brother Little Greavy has gone and seized the lead here on the penultimate lap, and is he going to bring it home and take the victory tonight? Very sad this happens, says Gertie, and would have been a good fight with Senna. 5 clips reported on Viper, says it all. Unlucky, Totally Zero says. Yeah, there shouldn't be driving in motive, in my opinion. Totally Zero says, clean race, clean battle. It is between these guys right now. Just under a second between Little Greavy and Senna. There's the Greave ahead of Mr. Basil. Mr. Basil trying to throw the kitchen sink here at the Greave in the final part of this race. A lap and a half left to go here at the Marina Bay Street circuit. But Little Greavy has gone and seized the initiative right now. He's got P1. Now, can he keep it together? Is he going to keep his cool and stay composed in the final part of this race? If he can, then it's going to be another race win for Little Greavy, but it's going to be a long time since he won. The last race win that I can remember him getting would have probably been season 2 at Monza. I don't know if Little Greavy, if I'm wrong, if you've won since then, let me know. I think the last time I can remember Little Greavy taking a win was season 2 at Monza. I remember it quite vividly actually, but that's the last time I can remember Little Greavy taking a win, and that is 2 seasons ago. That's probably near enough a year ago at this point. It's probably over a year since I've seen Little Greavy get a race win. So yeah, basically it's been a while since he stood on the top step, but he's currently got that position at the moment, and he is gapping Senna. Seems to really be enjoying these slippery, rainy conditions here tonight. The Greave, they're running in third ahead of Mr. Basil as they're battling out over the podium places here. But Little Greavy's soon to be starting the final lap of the race, and he's got the pace over Senna, and as long as he doesn't make any mistakes or drop it or make any sillinesses here right at the end of this race, he should have this race win done and in the bag. The Greave's still keeping ahead of Mr. Basil right now, but Mr. Basil's going to give it everything he can to get that podium place as we're on to the final lap of the race here, looking towards the inside. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? He's way too far back to even think about it at the moment, and the Greave's going to hold on to that one for the time being. But here we go then. Little Greavy's just got to drive around 20 more turns of this Singapore Marina Bay Street circuit here tonight, and he'll be taking the win for round 16 of season 4 here on the EA Sports F1 game at Motive. His gap to Senna just under 3 seconds at this point. You've got the Greaves there running in third place ahead of Mr. Basil. Mr. Basil though is going to fight this with everything he's got here on this final lap. Through Raffles Boulevard we go, getting a bit closer on the brakes, but not close enough. He's just going to be trying to force the Greave into a mistake here in this final part of the lap, because there's not really many overtaking spots here, not really any if I can be honest with you. So he's got to try and force the Greave into a little mishap or some kind of error, put it in the wall or go run wide maybe onto one of the runoff areas, and maybe seize the initiative. But it's currently Little Greavy leading the race ahead of Senna, and this is a battle for the podium places here, which is going to go down to the wire between these two. But I think the Greav should be able to hold on as long as he can park the car in all the right places here. He should be alright to take third place here in this race. Little Greavy nonetheless is coming into the final sector here, and what a night it has been for him. What a superb performance, to be fair. He didn't have it easy, did he? He had to get ahead of Mr. Basil, the Greav and Senna. He had to make the moves. He had to really push hard and make the overtakes here, because he was running in fourth on the last restart, but he's gone and made it happen. He's just made light work of those in front of him, and has shown that in these rainy conditions, Little Greavy is certainly the rain master tonight as he's coming through into the final few corners. His last win here at Motive was in Season 2 at Monza. That is over 12 months ago. It's about 13 months ago now. He's going to go and take the win here on F122 here at Singapore for Season 4. He takes the checkered flag, but Senna gets it on the time penalties. Oh my goodness, you couldn't make it up. Little Greavy loses the race win on the time penalties. Oh, that's gut-wrenching there for Little Greavy. Oh, I do feel for him. I really do feel for him. The Greav there completing the podium ahead of Mr. Basil in fourth. V10 Ultra's coming up towards the line. It's going to be a P5. He's actually the last driver to finish because the other two, Mike and the Mutsnuts, were a lap down. Oh, no. I honestly, I really do feel for him there. Little Greavy loses the win on the time penalties, only by 3/10 as well. He almost pulled enough of a gap. One more sector and he would have had that win in the bag. He was so much quicker in those wet conditions. But the race winner on the record is Senna, and you've got to say I do feel good for Senna as well, because he's had a difficult season, to be fair. Obviously he had to live in GGJ's shadow a little bit in the early part of the season. GGJ was so consistent. Senna was able to take the fight to him on a few occasions. Senna's got the qualifying pace over GGJ, there's no question about it. Senna is the better qualifier. But in the races, GGJ has overshadowed him. But tonight here at Singapore, Senna has taken a superb victory. And I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted with that. So well done to him. And that is the classification here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Senna taking the win with Little Greavy and his brother the Greav on the podium. A double podium there for the Haas boys. I'm sure we'll be chuffed to bits with that. Guys, thanks ever so much for joining us here tonight. Oh, it's been an eventful one. I'm kind of relieved that's over now, to be fair, because that was a chaotic race. But yeah, cheers everyone. Thanks for joining us here. Thanks to the drivers who watched this back afterwards. If you did enjoy, please share it with your friends, family members and otherwise associates. Also, if you want to get involved, if you're watching for the first time, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. With that being said, guys, I'm off. Cheers now, and good night.